5 years in the industry and still a nobody. So I did what any washed-up actress with no options might do. I went home and married a man I'd never met. Strategic marriage alliance. He hated the idea. Didn't show up to the wedding. Called me later just to lay down the law. Hi. I'm in love with someone else. Don't waste your time on me. You're free to see whoever you want. I won't interfere. This is a business deal, nothing more. 1 year from now, we get divorced. Be ready. And don't come crying when it's time to sign. Click. That was it. I stood outside his study, phone still in hand, frozen. Inside the room? Wall-to-wall shelves lined with my merch. Posters, signed albums, limited edition figures, everything I'd ever put out. All of me. Everywhere. I didn't move. I just stared, trying to figure out what the hell kind of game this was. I changed my name, buried my past, and clawed my way into the entertainment industry. 5 years in. Big names, big campaigns, big opportunities, none of it stuck. I stayed lukewarm at best. So I caved. Went home. Agreed to the marriage. The groom? Marcus Morgan, the eldest son of the Morgan dynasty. Cold. Calculated. Barely speaks. Knows how to win and never plays fair. People talk about him like he's myth and warning all in one. They say Marcus has the kind of face that could sell sin. Charming, smooth, dangerously beautiful. Makes you want to trust him, even when you shouldn't. But underneath the polished act? He's ice. Sharp, brutal, transactional. The kind of man who doesn't do warmth, only strategy. Even my friends pitied me. Rebecca, one of them said, voice low and careful, we're all worried about you. Marrying a man like that, cold, heartless. You don't even know what kind of hell you're walking into. I tightened my grip on the phone. Said nothing. Laughed, quiet, bitter, useless. Then I hung up. Opened the back end of my social app. Scrolled to the draft I'd been sitting on for months. And hit post. Officially stepping away from the industry. I might have been a D-list nobody, but I still had a few diehard fans. The second I posted my retirement statement, they flooded my DMs, familiar usernames, messages stacked one after another like tiny paper cranes. But one name stood out in all that noise. Q. I knew him like clockwork. For 5 years straight, he was always first like, first comment, first repost. Hardcore loyal. The kind of fan you don't forget. He had insane gear too. Every photo he posted of me? Crystal clear, high-res perfection. Almost too good. He spent big on fan support events, too, so much that other fans started calling him Mr. Q. I clicked into his profile. Pinned to the top, a video edit of my highlights, stitched together with ridiculous care. Under it, a clumsy little dance he learned from me. He never showed his face, but every move was earnest, almost adorably awkward. But what stuck with me the most? His comments. Never flashy. Never dramatic. Just the same line over and over again. Hope you're happy every day. No more, no less. Simple to the point of stubborn. But today, that changed. He sent a wall of text. Long, unfiltered. Emotional. He wrote about how he stumbled across one of my videos on the worst night of his life. How something I said, something I didn't even remember, got him through the insomnia. How every time I posted, his hands would shake from excitement. And then came the last part. Honest, restrained, but cracking at the seams. Sorry if this is too much. But I just wanted to tell you, you've been my light. My lifeline. The reason I kept going. These 5 years. I've been genuinely happy. Eva, you matter to me more than you'll ever know. I stared at the screen. Noticed the typos first. He must have been typing fast. Hand shaking. Couldn't even hit the keys right by the end. And just like that, my throat tightened. I sat there for a long moment, eyes stinging. Then typed back, carefully, word by word. Thank you for supporting me and caring all these years. I hope you're happy every day too. If fate allows, let's meet again. After replying to every last message, I took a deep breath, swallowed the knot in my throat, and got ready to delete my account. And then I saw it. Hashtag Marcus crying into car. Number 1 on the trending list. Curious, I tapped in. A 10-second video autoplayed at the top of the page. Under the dim glow of a street lamp, Marcus sat alone in the back seat of a black car. The light carved out the sharp lines of his face. His long lashes were lowered, his shoulders shaking just slightly. There were clear tear streaks on his cheeks. He looked wrecked. Not angry. Not cold. Just on the edge of something raw and desperate. The comment section was chaos. Hold up, is that the Marcus Morgan crying? Did the sun rise from the west today or what? Not gonna lie, I thought his car was haunted from the way it was shaking. This is terrifying. Whatever's possessing Marcus, please exit the vehicle. Okay, but seriously, what the hell could make him cry? That last question lit the match. Speculation exploded. Some said he was devastated over being forced into a loveless marriage. Others figured it was work pressure finally breaking him down. Whatever it was, I didn't care. I skimmed the comments, barely paying attention. Then closed the app. And got back to finalizing my retirement with my manager. 2 a.m. I dragged my exhausted body through the front door and collapsed onto the couch. Checked my phone out of habit, and there he was. The same man who dominated the trending page earlier was now sitting in my friend request inbox. Marcus. Just that. 2 words in the message, Marcus. I hesitated for a second, then tapped into his profile. Blank avatar. No bio. Username, just M. Everything about it screamed stay away. I rubbed my temples, which had started to throb, then sighed and hit accept. A voice message came in almost instantly. Cold. Clipped. Emotionally vacuum sealed. Like he was talking to a problem he couldn't avoid, trying to stay polite but itching to be done with it. Good evening, Miss Miller. This is Marcus, your marriage partner. I wasn't big on voice notes, so I typed back. Hello. He didn't bother with small talk. I'm in love with someone. Have been. Always will be. So you don't need to waste your time trying anything with me. This marriage is purely transactional. I'm fine with an open arrangement, you're free to see whoever you want. I won't interfere. And I expect the same in return. Your father mentioned you had a first love living abroad. I travel internationally often. If you want to see him, I can help you make that happen. I froze. You're offering to cover for me so I can meet up with my ex? I typed. Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. Honestly, it'd be a relief if you were into someone else. Would make things cleaner. I didn't know how to respond to that. My fingers hovered over the screen. Go on. Anything else I should know? Just one more thing, this marriage lasts exactly 1 year. We get divorced after that. I expect you to sign the papers without making a scene. Don't embarrass either of our families. Got it. Don't worry, I won't. He actually sighed in relief at that. Good. Oh, and Miss Miller. There's no need for a wedding ceremony. Obviously, no physical obligations either. Let's also keep the marriage private. No public announcements. It's better for both of us. I had no objections. I agreed. Marcus went quiet after laying out his long list of conditions. It was the kind of silence that wasn't accidental, he was double-checking himself, probably running through everything in his head to make sure he hadn't missed anything. 15 minutes later, another message came through. That's all for now. Apologies, Miss Miller, you know I'm a businessman. And businessmen don't trust verbal agreements. So, just to prevent any future complications, I'd like to draw up a contract. Something we can both sign. It'll cover property division, of course, but also everything we just discussed. Like the 1-year term, no marital obligations, me helping you meet your ex, etc. Does that sound acceptable to you? I didn't even blink. That's fine, Mr. Morgan. Send it over when it's ready. He seemed satisfied with that. I'll have it drafted and send it to you first thing in the morning. I paused, then added. By the way, Mr. Morgan, do you think we should meet before registering the marriage? He shut it down instantly. No need. Waste of time. Nothing for us to talk about. I'll see you in 3 days when we file the papers. Perfect. I nodded like he could see me. Great. Works for me. Marcus was clearly worried I'd back out. He sent over the digital version of the contract before 4 a.m., pages and pages of airtight legal language. What I didn't expect was what happened next. By 6:30 the next morning, he was standing in our living room, in person, holding the printed version, all neatly bound. While he made polite small talk with my dad downstairs, my mom yanked me out of bed and shoved me into the bathroom to wash up. Toothbrush in my mouth, I crept up to the corner of the second-floor landing and peered down at him. Just like my friends had described. Marcus sat perfectly straight on the leather sofa, legs crossed at the knee, dressed head to toe in a jet black suit tailored so precisely it looked sculpted onto him. The pose was ordinary. The man was not. There was something about the way he held himself, impossibly sharp features, elegant posture, that cool, distant air. It gave him a kind of controlled sensuality. Cold and immaculate. Dangerous without trying to be. No wonder my dad had said Marcus was the one. His top pick. Elite. Flawless. Tailor-made for you. But then I spotted it. A thin pink strap, just barely visible beneath the cuff of his sleeve. A wristband. Pink. My support color. I always noticed pink, no matter how buried it was in the noise. And Marcus Morgan, the coldest man alive, was wearing a pastel pink fan bracelet? Huh. Kind of funny. While my dad chatted with Marcus, he kept shooting me little glances, subtle, but obvious enough if you were looking. Marcus, though? Might as well have been meditating with his eyes open. Not a single blink, not a twitch. Just that neutral, detached expression as he let my dad do all the performing. He wasn't just uninterested, he was broadcasting it loud and clear. This wasn't just indifference. This was him making a point. I don't care about your daughter. I don't want to be here. I'm just following protocol. Finally, my dad gave up on subtlety and went straight for the ask. Marcus, why don't you stay for breakfast? Rebecca's home. You two should meet, get familiar. Marcus didn't even flinch. No need. His voice was low, smooth, and distant. Icy but polite. Mr. Miller, there'll be plenty of time to be around each other later, forced proximity, remember? We won't exactly have the luxury of avoiding it. My dad opened his mouth to insist, but Marcus cut him off, calm and final. That's enough, Mr. Miller. I'll be leaving now. He turned and walked toward the door. At the exact moment I stepped into the living room, fully dressed, ready to make a civil appearance, he walked out. Closed the door behind him without so much as a glance in my direction. Didn't look up. Didn't pause. Didn't acknowledge me at all. Might as well have had the words, "not interested," carved into the back of his neck. Marcus had barely stepped out of my house when I got another message from him. Miss Miller, I've sealed the contract and handed it to your father. Look it over when you can, once it's signed, I'll have my assistant come pick it up. I sat down and read the whole thing carefully, line by line. Everything we discussed last night was in there. But what caught me off guard was a clause at the very end. All benefits gained from the marriage would be split 60-40. 60% to me. And once the marriage ended, I'd receive a sizable payout. Not small change, real money. The kind that could keep me comfortable for the rest of my life. I counted the zeros. Then reread the clause. Suddenly, all my unease about the marriage shifted into something else, the quiet discomfort of getting paid too well to stay out of someone's life. I typed a message, unsure if I was overstepping. Mr. Morgan, I noticed the contract doesn't mention anything about your relationship with the person you love. Was that an oversight? It was a genuine question. But his response came fast and cold. Miss Miller, don't try to test me. I'm aware that women are often at a disadvantage in marriage. So during the term of ours, I'll make sure never to do anything that would embarrass you publicly. I paused. Even through a screen, I could feel him, probably frowning at his phone, grumbling something like, "Damn woman thinks she can tell me what to do," while still forcing himself to reply politely. And no, she won't be a third party. Not officially, not symbolically, not in any way. I'll wait until this marriage is over before I go after her. Confess to her. Try to be with her. Assuming she's still single. And doesn't hate me. The tone shifted. Just slightly. Still restrained, but softer. Vulnerable, even. Who knew? The ruthless heir actually had feelings. Then another message came in. By the way, send me your passport. I instantly stiffened. Why? I'm flying out of the country the day after we register the marriage. Turns out, the city I'm headed to is the same one your ex lives in. I figured it'd be a good chance for you to see him. I've already booked your ticket. We'll tell your family it's a honeymoon. Just like the contract says, I'll cover for you. I hovered over the screen, fingers paused. Didn't reply right away. Marcus, clearly noticing my hesitation, followed up. Miss Miller, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You may not get this lucky again. Think about it. Miss it now, and who knows when, or if, you'll ever see him again. Still, I hesitated. It wasn't that simple. When we broke up back then, I'd blocked every way he could contact me. Phone. Email. Socials. Everything. Then Marcus added. Your father told me the breakup wasn't exactly clean. I've got a friend who's a relationship counselor. He's helped tons of couples patch things up after ugly splits. I'll bring him along. I'm sure he can help you two reconnect. I didn't respond immediately, but I felt myself wavering. Maybe it wouldn't be a full-blown reunion. Maybe it'd just be a trip. A break. A change of air. A chance to close the book properly. Finally, I gave in. Sent him a photo of my passport. All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Don't mention it. There was a shift in his tone again, lighter now, almost cheerful. Like just knowing I had someone else to focus on had put him at ease. Because yes, Marcus Morgan was terrified of being clung to. And now he didn't have to be. Originally, the plan was for Marcus's assistant to pick up the contract. But just before sunset, I got a message from him. Miss Miller, something came up, I was pulled into an unscheduled meeting. My assistant's tied up, so I'll have to ask you to deliver it yourself. And ideally, I'd like you to come in person. I don't really trust anyone else with this. Better to get it done today, sooner we sign, sooner we both sleep easy. Fair enough. He didn't want me backing out. And I didn't want him quietly adjusting the numbers behind my back. I glanced out the window, torrential rain. Still, I gritted my teeth, got up, and threw on a jacket. Luckily, Marcus lived nearby. Just a 10-minute walk. By the time I reached his front door, I was soaked. There was something oddly familiar about the setup, like I'd seen it before, but couldn't place where. I entered the door code he'd given me, and the lock clicked open. These townhouses were all laid out the same, so it wasn't hard to find his study. But when I reached the door, I froze. A rosy pink door. Bright. Bold. So jarringly out of place in the sleek, monochrome space around it. The rest of the home was cold, clinical, white walls, black furniture, blackout curtains. Minimalist. Masculine. Except for this. This loud, soft, almost saccharine shade of pink. I hesitated, then slowly pushed the door open. What I saw made my breath catch. A massive poster, my poster, hung on the far wall. Just me. A solo shot from my second year in the industry. I'd forgotten this shoot even existed. And that was just the beginning. Photos. Fan merch. Trinkets from campaigns I barely remembered. Stickers, keychains, magazines, bubble teacups from my endorsement deals, everything. All tagged with dates. Neatly boxed. Organized. Catalogued. At least 10 full crates of merchandise, each item arranged like it was priceless. Like it was sacred. Like I was something worth collecting. I rubbed my eyes hard. Nope. Still there. This wasn't some sleep-deprived hallucination. And the angle of the desk, the way it was positioned, the little items placed just so on the surface, it all felt weirdly familiar. Too familiar. I pulled out my phone and started scrolling, comparing it side by side. And then it hit me. Like a punch to the brain. Marcus, the cold, calculating executive who drafted a stack of contracts just to keep me at arm's length, was Q. My most loyal, die-hard, never-missed-a-post fan. I was still reeling from that realization when my phone buzzed again. Miss Miller, I forgot to mention, I meant for you to drop the contract off in the second-floor study, not the one downstairs. I rubbed the back of my neck, suddenly feeling awkward. Sorry. I already left it in the downstairs study. He replied immediately. A single punctuation mark. Then came the flurry. Please leave the room right now and don't touch anything. Those items are extremely important to me. If anything's damaged, I won't take it lightly. Relax, I replied. I didn't touch anything. Dropped the contract and left. Everything's fine. I paused. Looked back up at the shelves, at the carefully arranged collection, some pieces I hadn't seen in years, some I didn't even have myself anymore. Things long discontinued, rare promos, even giveaway merch from old bubble tea collabs, all perfectly preserved, like they'd just come out of the box. And then, a wild, impossible thought crossed my mind. I typed, slowly. Mr. Morgan, the girl you told me you liked. She wouldn't happen to be this actress, would she? A long silence. Then finally. Yes. Why? Do you know her? Are you a fan too? Wait, are we standing the same person? Haha. I let out a hollow laugh, staring at the sea of me staring back at me. No. I don't think I know her. He replied thoughtfully, almost disappointed. Yeah. I guess that makes sense. She never really made it big. Not yet. I was planning to quietly funnel better opportunities her way once I took over the company this year. 10 times better than what she had before. But then she quit. Now I don't know what she's doing. If she'll even stay in the industry. If she might get married this year. No clue which lucky bastard she ends up with. Whoever it is, he better treat her right. Because if he doesn't, I swear, I'll hunt him down. I'll ruin his life. I won't let him get away with it. I stared at my phone. And for once, I had no idea what to say. I wiped the sweat from my forehead and sent a carefully worded message. By the way, Mr. Morgan, are you really sure we don't need to meet before we register the marriage? Yes, he replied instantly. As I've said before, I'm absolutely certain there's no need. All right then, I said. Hope you don't regret it later. His tone shifted. Cold again. Defensive. Miss Miller, what's that supposed to mean? Are you backing out? Planning to break the agreement? Don't forget, we've signed a contract. You don't get to regret it. I let out a dry little laugh and typed. Relax. I'm not backing out. Still, he wasn't convinced. Miss Miller, if I recall correctly, the end of that contract outlines very specific penalties for a breach of agreement. I know, I said. Don't worry. Whoever backs out is the loser. There was a pause. Then he replied again, like someone trying to sound tough but awkwardly committing to the bit. Right. Exactly. Whoever regrets it first is the loser. Big time. Mr. Morgan, I replied, amused, has anyone ever complimented your intelligence? Of course, he shot back, without a hint of irony. I take great pride in my above-average intelligence. Regularly acknowledged, I might add. 3 days flew by. Marcus and I hadn't exchanged a single word in that time. On the day we were supposed to register our marriage, I arrived at the civil office half an hour early. I was leaning against the wall, half asleep, when I saw his Maybach pull into view. The moment Marcus caught sight of my face through the windshield, his hands clenched around the steering wheel, like he'd been hit by something hard and sudden. Frozen in place. I didn't hesitate. I stepped forward, walking straight toward him. My phone buzzed nonstop in my bag. It was him, text after text flooding in, his carefully controlled persona shattered into pieces. Miss Miller, can we delay the appointment? Just for a bit? I saw her today. She's here. She's walking toward me. I need to say something to her. Just one sentence. Please. God, my heart's racing. Is this what cardiac arrest feels like? Am I dying? I might actually. I reached the front of his car and tapped gently on the window. He slowly rolled it down, eyes filled with a storm of emotion, shock, awe, maybe even reverence. Like the thing he'd dreamed of for years had suddenly materialized in front of him. His fingers trembled like crazy. I met his gaze and smiled. Held out my hand. Hi, I said calmly. I'm Rebecca. I paused. Watched his expression freeze in real time. And then, softly, almost playful. Or, if you prefer, you can call me by my stage name. Eva. The air between us went still. And inch by inch, the smile on Marcus's face broke apart. Marcus sat frozen, completely still. He didn't move. Didn't blink. But the hands-free call still blared through the speakers in his car, his friend's voice ringing out, loud and insistent. Marcus? You there? Hello? You didn't answer, did you see Rebecca or not? The Millers always claimed their daughter was sick or something, never brought her out in public. No one's even sure what she looks like. I've been dying to find out. Come on, man, say something. Did you see her? Marcus finally stirred. His movements were slow, robotic. He lowered his head, clenched his jaw, and forced out a single word. No. A beat of stunned silence. Then his friend practically shouted. You didn't see Rebecca? Then who did you see? Marcus paused. Long enough for the silence to feel suffocating. Then, he slowly closed his eyes. And muttered, deadpan. My grandma. Wait, what? His friend blurted, completely thrown. You're what? We sat across from each other in a private dining room. The marriage registration had to be delayed. Marcus had ended the phone call earlier by closing his eyes and slapping himself. Hard. Twice. He'd gone all in, left his cheeks red and swollen, totally unfit for official photos. Now, sitting there, his ears were still burning red, though whether from the slaps or sheer humiliation, I couldn't say. He hadn't spoken a word since. Just followed me around in a daze, like his brain had packed up and left the building. Now, seated across from me, He stared down at the table like he was trying to burn holes into the plates with his shame alone. I waved a hand in front of his face. Marcus? He snapped out of it with a jolt. His eyes landed on my face for a split second, then darted away like touching eye contact would physically hurt him. Without a word, he grabbed the bottle on the table and chugged like his life depended on it. Mouth full, he mumbled. "WH what?" I stared at him. "That's mouthwash." He froze mid-gulp. Then, cough cough cough, oh God, gag gag gag. He nearly choked, hacking and sputtering into a napkin, trying to rinse out the minty disaster he'd just swallowed. I waited patiently until the chaos died down. "Anyway," I said, casually, "just wondering, do we still need to buy rings?" He blinked at me. Paused. Then, with sudden conviction and the faintest trace of hope. "Well, of course we." I cut him off with a wave, already digging through my bag. "Cool, give me a second, found it." Marcus perked up immediately. His eyes lit up. Hands clutched his shirt hem under the table, stiff with nervous energy. Hopeful. Then, in full view of his painfully eager gaze, I pulled out the contract. Flipped to a specific page. Pointed right at the clause. "Oh wow, almost forgot. You wrote it very clearly right here, no rings required." And just like that. Marcus stopped smiling. "Wait, hold on. I still need to check if there are any rules about eating together." "Marcus, don't touch your food yet." I flipped open the contract again, scanning the pages. Marcus pressed his lips into a thin, tortured line. His eyes drifted toward the document in my hands, full of bitterness. "Why are you still carrying around that pile of useless paper?" I shot him a look. "Useless? You literally told me 2 days ago to keep it safe. You said I should lock it in a password-protected safe. Speaking of which, did you buy one yet?" Marcus forced a smile. "Not yet." "Well, make sure you do." "Okay." I tucked the contract away and tilted my head, casually asking. "Hey, aren't you going on that business trip tomorrow?" Marcus froze. Jaw clenched tight. "Yes. And I'm going with you, right?" Another clench. Harder this time. "Yes. And you're taking me to see my ex?" He said nothing. Still clenching. Silent. "And you're covering for me, like we agreed?" Marcus looked like he was about to crack his molars. Finally, after a long silence, he gritted out. "Rebecca, actually, Tisk, I cut him off. "I know what you're going to say. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If I miss it now, who knows when I'll get another chance, right? No need to repeat it." I got the script down. "No, Also, you're bringing your relationship counselor friend, yeah? Don't forget, whether or not I get back together with my ex depends entirely on you too." "I'm counting on you, Marcus Morgan." "Actually. Yeah, I know, you'll cover for me." "Appreciate it. What time's the flight tomorrow night?" There was a pause. Then Marcus's voice cracked just a little, barely audible, a tremor beneath the surface. "Rebecca." I turned to look at him. "Yeah?" He hesitated. Then quietly, painfully, he said. "Please, stop messing with me." After that, he dropped his gaze. Long lashes trembling. And for a moment, he looked like he might break. I'm sorry, I'm just a complete idiot. A world-class, top-tier, absolute moron. The dumbest man alive. If I had a single working brain cell, I wouldn't be in this mess. My mom must have dropped me on my head when she had me, that's the only explanation." Marcus was unraveling in real time. "Rebecca, please, just ignore that dumbass from a few days ago." "That Marcus? He's gone. Dead. Buried. I'm someone else now, okay? That version of me is dead." His face was twisted in pure regret. Then, in one dramatic motion, he shoved back his chair and dropped to one knee in front of me. And slapped himself. Again. Hard. A few times. The smacks were dull, like he didn't even care about the pain, like he wanted it. I raised an eyebrow. He was wearing a sharp black suit for our registration appointment today. Clean, pressed, elegant. His hair was slicked back, every strand in place, forehead cleanly exposed. He looked like the picture of calm, classy masculinity. But the voice coming out of his mouth. Pure whimpering puppy. "Rebecca, please stop playing with me," he said. I turned my gaze away, took a sip of ice water, and felt heat burn up the back of my throat. Coughed. "Okay. That's enough." Marcus blinked, stunned. Looked up at me with those tear-soaked lashes sticking together. There was a faint trickle of blood at the corner of his mouth. I rapped my knuckles on the table. "Shut up and eat first." He shut up. Immediately. Slumped back into his seat like a scolded schoolboy. A few moments passed in awkward silence. Then, in a small, hesitant voice, he asked. "So, does that mean we're still getting married?" I frowned, confused. All I could think about was that large sum of money waiting at the finish line. Why wouldn't we? His eyes widened. He rubbed at his face, blinking rapidly, like he couldn't believe it. "I still have a chance?" "Really?" "Okay. Okay. Good." But then his shoulders dropped again, and he looked down, mumbling. "Could I maybe get a fresh start with you? Like Marcus and Rebecca, meeting again for the first time. From right now. Could we try that? Please. I mean it. Please. Do all men overcomplicate things like this? What difference does it make?" I sighed and scrunched my brow. "Whatever. Sure. I don't care." Marcus looked up at me, eyes wide and shining. Like I'd just given him a second life. I reached for a bottle of drink. Marcus immediately leaned forward, hands ready to open it for me. I sniffled lightly. He quickly pulled out 2 tissues and handed them over. Done with all that, he lifted his eyelids, looking at me with a hopeful, almost desperate gaze. Like a loyal dog trying to please its owner. Like there was a wagging tail somewhere behind him. I suddenly lost my appetite. "Marcus, don't do that." His expression froze. His Adam's apple bobbed painfully. What? I mean, didn't we agree to start over? Get to know each other again? I wiped my mouth and spoke calmly, deliberately. "You don't need to waste your time on me. Go ahead and like whoever you want. I won't interfere. Remember, this marriage is just a business deal. 1 year from now, we're getting divorced. Be prepared. Don't come crying or dragging your feet when it's time to sign. All of this, you said it yourself. What, have you forgotten?" Marcus's world seemed to crumble. His shoulders shook. He dropped his hands in defeat. Oh, and I almost forgot, just so you're clear. I've never had any expectations for this marriage. Not once. From start to finish, it's all about the money. What you're doing right now, it's only making me miserable. Stay clear-headed." I stood up. "All right. You eat. I'm leaving." Marcus finally snapped back to reality, letting out a choked whimper. His hand twitched upward. Quick as lightning, I shoved the contract into his palm, blocking the instinctive reach toward me. He froze. Took a breath. Saw the document in his hand. Almost fainted on the spot. I ignored his reaction, smiled faintly. "Go home. Read through this a couple of times. Your memory doesn't seem so great. How could you forget something you wrote yourself so quickly?" I straightened, glanced one last time at his knuckles, white from gripping the paper, and headed for the door. The glass reflected his trembling figure. He looked like he was about to shatter completely. From that day on, Marcus changed completely. Gone was the cold, arrogant man I'd known. Instead, he became insufferably talkative. Morning greetings. Nighttime goodnights. A flood of little puppy emojis. Every meal he ate. Every meeting he attended. Every document he signed. He had to report it all to me. I'm giving you a full report of my day, Rebecca. I want you to know everything I experienced today. Oh, by the way. I accidentally canceled your plane ticket. You're not mad, are you? The ticket, gone. Does this mean you and your ex aren't meant to be? Can you believe this? What a disaster. I frowned, cold. You can accidentally cancel a plane ticket? Are you always this unreliable? Panic crept into his voice, trembling slightly. Of course not. I sighed, annoyed. If you're really this unreliable, I might need to reconsider our marriage agreement. He froze, voice cracking with desperation. Rebecca, please, don't reconsider. I was wrong. It wasn't an accident. I did it on purpose. I clicked my tongue. Men who cry too easily will drain all the luck out of the house, you know that, right? Instantly, Marcus stopped crying. He hung up, calmed himself, and then, tail practically wagging, sent me a huge transfer. Here's my salary for today. Handing it over, up left arrow, caret omega caret, up right arrow. I groaned, half exasperated, half amused. Stop. Annoying me again and I'll block you, smiley face. Marcus paused for 2 seconds. Then, sheepishly, he deleted every single message he'd just sent. From that point on. Besides sending his salary, he never wasted words again. But he started showing up at my house. Every day. The moment Marcus arrived, my dad, as usual, exchanged a few polite words with him and then pointed upstairs. Well, I'll call Rebecca down now. Marcus curved his lips politely, about to nod. But my dad immediately shook his head. Wait, I almost forgot, you said she didn't need to come down. After all, in the future, avoiding her will be nearly impossible. Yes, I remember. Don't worry. I won't call her down, definitely won't. Haha, don't take it the wrong way. My memory's really getting worse. I can barely remember when to take my pills. Marcus stayed quiet for a long moment, then let out a bitter laugh. Mr. Miller, you probably won't believe me, but I was insane that day. My dad blinked at him, speechless, completely thrown by Marcus's sudden shift in demeanor. Ah? Marcus didn't seem to think anything was odd. Have you eaten breakfast? I can go buy something. What do you like? What does my mom like? By the way, the floors haven't been mopped today, and the windows are dirty. I saw some laundry still in the washroom, and the dog needs walking. Dad, don't worry. I'll handle everything. I've been capable since I was a kid. Trust me. My dad's face went pale. Shaking, he ran over to me. Honey, has Marcus been possessed by a ghost? He wasn't like this a few days ago. And for the next several days, it didn't stop. Every morning when I came downstairs, Marcus was already there. Mop in his left hand, cloth in his right. Scrubbing, dusting, massaging my dad's shoulders, kneading my mom's legs, bathing our dog. On the table, he'd neatly arranged the foods I liked, and a bright bouquet of red roses. It was exhausting just watching him. He remembered everything I said. Even the things I mumbled in my nap. Even what I dreamed about eating. When a downpour hit, he'd clumsily run out in the rain just to get it for me. I felt a twinge of guilt. Seeing me sigh, Marcus half joked. It's only natural, of course. I let out a breath. Marcus, you don't have to do all this. He bit his lip, pretending not to hear, stubbornly replying. I don't understand what you're saying. I'll go tidy up your study. And so. He spent the entire night alone in my study. When he left, he was dazed. He even tripped on the way out. I didn't know what to make of it, until I got his message that evening. Rebecca, you can't forget your first love, can you? I didn't confirm or deny. Calmly, I said. I suppose, for anyone, the first person you like is hard to forget, right? Marcus went silent. After a moment, I tried again. You don't mind that I had a first love, do you? If it bothers you, we don't have to get married. Still, no reply. The next day, he showed up again. But the usual suit and crisp shirt were gone. Instead, he wore a strangely childish hoodie. It looked oddly familiar, and I couldn't help asking. Marcus, what's with the outfit today? He lowered his head, fists clenched, hesitating like the words were hard to say. Do you like me like this? Honestly? Marcus looked good in anything. I smiled. It looks fine. His eyes lit up at the compliment. But just as quickly, the sparkle faded, replaced with a low murmur. As long as you like it, that's enough for me. Later that evening, as I was tidying my bookshelf, a photo slipped out. It was a picture of me and my first love. I had kept it tucked between the pages, not thrown it away. Bending down to pick it up, I froze. His hoodie looked exactly like the one Marcus had been wearing these past few days. Wait. Was Marcus copying my ex? I couldn't help laughing through my disbelief. Quickly, I called him. Marcus, my dad probably didn't explain well, my ex was a two-timer. I only went to see him to give him a piece of my mind. I wasn't going to meet him for any other reason. The trip with you? I only wanted to travel. Not to see him. There was a pause. Then Marcus spoke, unable to hide his excitement. Why tell me all this now? Honestly, I didn't really want to know either. I went silent. The next day, Marcus's mood had changed completely. From cooking for me with that sullen, sulky expression, he now cooked with energy and even hummed quietly to himself, light and cheerful. And just like that, a month passed with Marcus. Day 1, I thought he was inexplicable. Day 7, I felt a little sorry for him. Day 13, I realized he could be kind of cute sometimes. Day 23, on a whim, I wiped the sweat from his forehead. Day 30, while he sat across from my dad playing chess, the sunlight hit his profile just right. Before I realized it, a light kiss had landed on his cheek. He froze. The chess piece slipped from his fingers and clattered against the board. I panicked, realizing what I'd done, and bolted back to my room. It wasn't until my dad said he'd left that I carefully pushed the door open. Next thing I knew, someone had grabbed my wrist and pulled me outside. Marcus's tall frame loomed over me. One hand circled my waist, the other lifted my chin. He leaned in slowly. I froze, clutching his clothes, eyes half closed. Then, he tilted his head and kissed my ear, quick and teasing, before pulling away. I blinked in surprise. Met his warm, smiling gaze. What were you hoping for with your eyes closed just now? I realized I'd been played, and, embarrassed and furious, I punched him lightly. Marcus, you, ugh. Before I could finish, he bent down and kissed me again. Not gentle. Not hesitant. His warm tongue pushed past my teeth, insistent, demanding, entwining with mine. My legs went weak. Behind me, the wall was cold. In front, his chest was burning hot. Every breath was tangled, every movement pressed with urgency. Lips and teeth collided, wet and dizzying. When the kiss ended, I couldn't look at him. I buried my face in his chest to catch my breath. Marcus nuzzled my hair like a loyal puppy. His voice was low and hoarse. By the way, I have some bad news. My house got robbed a couple of days ago. What? Robbed? I lifted my head, worried. Did they take anything valuable? He shook his head. Nothing at all. I frowned. Then, what did they steal? Marcus pursed his lips, serious. They stole the contracts we signed. All 18 of them. I froze. They stole the contracts? Why would anyone steal that? He shook his head seriously, pressing me back into his chest. Who knows? Maybe they wanted to sell them as scrap paper. I caught the corner of his mouth twitching. And then it clicked. My scream echoed down the hallway. Marcus! You scoundrel! Before I could react, Marcus leaned down and shamelessly covered my mouth with his, silencing me once again. Before I knew it, the day had arrived, the day Marcus and I would officially register our marriage again. I wasn't even fully ready. He stood by the door, trembling slightly, and solemnly shook hands with everything nearby, the hanging plants, the fruit tree, even the little dog waiting by the entrance. Brother number 1, wish me luck for registering the marriage. Brother number 2, wish me happiness in my new marriage. Brother number 3, wish me a blissful union. Thank you all. I'm not so nervous anymore. Kidding. I'm dying of nerves. I pushed the door open just as he was taking a deep, shaky breath. Marcus, let's go. Time to register. He froze. Only glanced at me once, then quickly covered his eyes with his hands. I thought he was dazzled or shy, so I reached out to take his hand, but a drop of cold liquid fell onto mine. Marcus? What's wrong? Are you crying? He immediately wrapped me in his arms, burying his face into my neck. It feels like a dream. I've actually been to the airport countless times just to watch you from afar. I never dared get closer. I was terrified people would find out and speculate, or spread rumors about you using me. I couldn't stand it. But starting today, I don't have to fear anymore. Because you're my wife now. I can protect you openly. Rebecca, you can return to the entertainment world. Do whatever you love. I'll always support you. From now on, I'm not just your husband, I'm also your most loyal fan. My eyes stung a little. I patted his back gently. All right. Stop crying. If you keep it up, our photos will look awful. I'm shallow, I don't want a single ugly wedding picture. Marcus wiped his tears and broke into a smile. Then he grabbed my hand tightly. Let's go. That night, the trending topic shot to the top of social media. #GotLuckyAndMarriedMyFan #. The end.